A bit about the celebrant Fathia Cynthia Ando Arthur. On the 22nd of May 1960, Mr. and Mrs. Obed Ando gave birth to a bouncing baby girl and named her after Mr. Ando's cousin's wife, Madam Fathia Nkrumah, the wife of the first president of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Hence the baby was named Fathia Ando. The baby grew up in Ghana. For her nursery education, she attended Chapel Hill, a private school at Takoradi in Ghana. Fathia then proceeded to the Airport Association International School in Accra for her primary education. A few years after the 1966 coup, which ousted Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Fathia was placed in St. Mary's Primary Boarding School in Cape Coast, Ghana, to avoid missing her dad, who was then under arrest for being a political figure in the Nkrumah government. Her siblings were placed in other boarding schools like Achimota Primary and Datus boarding schools in Accra. For being named after Madam Fathia, who hailed from Egypt, Fathia experienced increased taunting at school from her peers and adults telling her to go back to her country. To minimise this taunting, Fathia's mum gave her the middle name Cynthia, which rhymed with Fathia. She hardly used the name Cynthia until her university days. Therefore, those who know her very well refer to her as Fathia or Thea, the short form of Fathia and Cynthia. After taking the Common Entrance examination, Fathia gained admission to Holy Child School, also in Cape Coast, Ghana, where she pursued her secondary education. From an early age, Fathia was passionate about the things of God. She loved going to church, thus she earned the nickname Roman from her siblings. In 1980, after her A-level examination, Fathia was late in enrolling for university that year, and by divine intervention, she secured a job for a year working in the Public Relations Office of the Nigerian Airports Authority, NAA, at the Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos. She worked as a conference officer and administrator. She was in charge of the first-class lounge at the airport and was responsible for hiring out the conference rooms and facilities. She is credited with assisting many clients to organise highly successful national and international conferences, a job which opened many doors during the prosperous times of the oil boom era in Nigeria. The job enabled Fathia to travel far and wide to many countries on conference tours. She travelled on $1 staff tickets provided by Nigerian Airways, an airline which has fleets of DC-10s and Airbuses at the time. Those were the great times indeed, but short-lived because Fathia had to further her education. For her first degree in 1981, Fathia attended the University of Lagos, UNILAG, where her mother's brother, Professor Emmanuel Kofi, a renowned professor in French and linguistics, was then the head of the Department of Modern Languages. She pursued a course of study combining history with French, but majored in history and obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree, BA Honours in History in the Upper Second Division in 1984. In a class of about 40 students, she was one of the only 3 students who graduated in the Upper Division. Following this achievement, Fathia was offered an assistant lecturer position in the history department at UNILAG. She turned it down and instead joined her siblings in the UK in 1984, having applied and gained admission into the London School of Economics and Political Science, popularly known as the LSE, which is one of the leading universities here in the UK. At the LSE, she pursued a master's degree course in 1985 as a full-time student in the Faculty of Economics. By God's grace, she graduated in 1986 with an MSc Economics degree in Industrial Relations and Personnel Management. Fathia's first job in the UK in 1986 was with the Cinema International Corporation, CIC Theatre Group, which owned the Empire and Plaza Cinemas at the time. She was employed as a sales coordinator, where she managed the sales staff and handled huge sums of money from the box office sales intake. She also covered many royal and movie premieres and had the opportunity to meet members of the royal family, film directors, numerous actors and actresses, as well as the great and the good of the film industry. In 1988, the general manager of CIC Theatre Group, David Hurrell, appointed Thafia to manage the sales staff of a newly acquired cinema at Bayswater. However, due to the late working schedule of the cinema industry, Thafia politely turned down this position and instead entered into the world of local government. She worked for the London Borough of Southwark as a course coordinator in the Economic Development Unit at Southwark Town Hall. Given Thafia's academic qualifications and exemplary work, she was promoted in the same year to the position of a business trainer. She taught people who wanted to start up their own businesses, as well as people with established businesses who were seeking to expand. Her teaching modules included marketing, human resource management, organisational behaviour, report writing, and presentation and communication skills. She built a good client base and helped many businesses located in the Borough of Southwark to obtain business grants from the council to start up or expand their businesses. In the same spirit, Thafia lectured on a part-time basis on the college-based courses at the London South Bank University, taking modules on business courses. She also lectured on business training courses organised by the Southwark Community Development Agency, SCDA. At the beginning of 1989, Thafia met James Arthur, and they were married in the same year 21 years ago. James married into the Ando family. In 1990, they were blessed with a beautiful baby girl, who they named Stacey Adekali, after James' mum. In 1991, whilst working as a business trainer, Thafia pursued a second master's degree course in business administration at the University of Westminster on a 2-year part-time day release basis, supported by her employers, her adorable husband James, and an understanding daughter Stacey, who's only a year old at the time. By God's grace and mercy, Thafia graduated in 1993 with an MBA, Masters of Business Administration degree. In the same year, she was appointed as a Senior Quality Officer in a newly created quality unit at Southwark Council. In 1994, God added a rather huge baby boy to the family. He was named Jude, in the biblical context, the brother of James, the bondservant of Jesus Christ. In 1995, Thafia applied for the position of a Principal Policy Officer at the Central Policy Unit at Southwark. After a short time in this position, she applied for and secured another job with the London Borough of Camden as a Senior Quality Officer. In the autumn of 1996, God added a more portable baby girl to the family named Janice, Nahale, meaning the truth. She was named after Thafia's mum. In 1998, Thafia was appointed as a Principal Policy Officer in the Corporate Policy Unit at Camden Council, where she contributed effectively to putting Camden on the map of excellent local authorities. In 2004, however, Thafia fought off stiff competition to secure the post of Principal Policy and Performance Officer here at the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, RBKC, where she currently works. Thafia continued to contribute to the achievement of RBKC status as one of the very few local authorities in England that has been consistently rated excellent for 8 years running by the Audit Commission, the local authority watchdog. In 2009, Thafia received an award from the Mayor of the Royal Borough, Councillor Timothy Coleridge, and the leader, Councillor Merrick Cockell, for 20 years' service and contribution to the local government. Thafia is an elder in her church, Powerland Chapel International, and she also chairs the events committee of the church. This path that Thafia has followed has been made possible by the good Lord. Her favourite biblical quotation to her children has been Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Thafia is passionate about helping her children and others around her to know and love God and develop and succeed in life by embracing the can-do attitude with the zeal that is needed to maximise their abilities and potential. This is only a bit about Thafia's story and a bit of what she has done within the 50 years that God has given her so far. Thafia enjoys going on holidays with her family. These are some of her favourite holiday snacks. She forbids her children to utter the words "I can't" because she believes everything can be made possible if you make God your anchor. Thafia is also inspired by the words of T.E. Lawrence that all men dream, but not equally. Some dream by night, in the dusty recesses of their minds, and wake in the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes and make it possible. This I did.